Well, transition is essentially change. So the transition to kindergarten is the change really from preschool or home to formal schooling. And I think that is probably the biggest change in formal education that a child will experience for a lot of reasons. One of the biggest reasons is because it's a change for the families too. In preschool, the family is very involved in what's going on. It's a less formal setting. They're welcome in the classroom. They can walk in and join a group. I've seen it happen when I've been in preschools. That's really not permissible in a kindergarten setting. So it is also a transition for the family. So I think that that is the biggest issue when you're talking about kindergarten transition, is the change from really being a young child at home to making that transition to growing away from your family and learning to do things independently and on your own.
Well, we know from all of the research that's out there that the effect of transition from the early learning environment into kindergarten is such an important time that the amount of success the child has during that time can predict their success in the future and whether or not they're going to end up in the mental health field or drug and alcohol addiction services later down the road.
It's very crucial. It doesn't just affect coming into kindergarten, it affects their whole entire school career. If they come into their first school experience not confident, it's stressful to them, it may affect their outlook going into every grade level. It's important that when they're coming in, it's a pleasant atmosphere for them. They should feel confident about themselves, about what they can do. Kindergarten changes so drastically year to year to year. That information, if somebody didn't have a child already in the school system, they wouldn't know what was expected of their child coming into kindergarten.
My staff learns how to welcome families into preschool first and then to move them on to the school district and into the school. So throughout the year, they are meeting with parents and they are setting up, it's like professional development for parents. And we invite parents to come into the preschool. We talk about the standards, what's going to be expected when they go on to kindergarten. And it's not about like them knowing their letters and numbers and things like that. It's the social emotional development and how do they get along with other kids, and can they go in independently and hang up their coats and follow directions. So it's not about academics all the time. It's a lot about social growth and social independence, and that is what we work on in my preschool programs, and so does everybody else, that independence. So I support my staff by providing that professional development and the opportunity to work with families and to help them in the transition as well.
When I was in kindergarten, it was pretty much coloring and crafts and, Play-Doh. It was really nice to be able to meet the teachers, meet the principal, get a feel of the kindergarten classroom, talk with them and kind of get him adjusted before it actually started, especially when all the kids start coming in. That's a lot more kids than just in a little itty-bitty preschool. They're going to be reading and coming up with a hypothesis for science. Like, they're going to be doing that this year. So getting into the process at kindergarten is really hard. That's why I think the kindergarten transition program is really important.
We have a transition fair that takes place in December, and that allows parents to visit our school. They attend different workshops. They bring their child with them. They have activities for the child. After we have kindergarten enrollment and registration in January, February, we also have what we call a screening in April. During that screening, I have the opportunity to meet with parents in small group, which is a wonderful experience for them, and also the children get to meet personnel at our school at different stations. After the screening, we have an additional kindergarten visitation. The parent comes to school or grandparent with their child. All my 6 classrooms are in session. They go from one classroom to the other. Each one focuses on something different in the classroom, so the children are seeing where they're coming, what they're going to be doing. They see their friends. And then we're very fortunate to have another community organization. We have a Success by 6 program. Those students who do not come before to register and come in August or September will not be able to take part in that program. So because of those reasons, it's very important they register early.
Well, as a kindergarten teacher, I do think that I see firsthand the benefits of having kindergarten transition. Specifically talking about the transition fair that we had at Prospect Elementary. We put together a brochure that had, first they had pictures of all 6 kindergarten teachers, because I feel like it's important for the kids to have a visual of who might be their teacher. They got things from PNC on the go cards. They received website links that they could go to and work with their child. Apps for their iPad, were on there. There were so many things that they could get. They also got a chalkboard. Those were just a few of many materials that they were given that they can use at home any day of the week.
30 years ago, most people thought of kindergarten as being the start of of a child's formal education, where today we know it's starting much earlier. Students arrive to us at kindergarten, and there's a lot of information that some of these preschools and early child care providers have had. Now we're getting that information. I think it's building that bridge so that kindergarten isn't the start but a continuation. Just that relationship building with the early childhood providers who I learned in this experience have really felt on the outside looking in. They really have felt that school districts really want no part of them and really are not interested in what they have to share and offer. So I think for us it's been beneficial in the fact that, again, we're getting a lot of information from our preschool providers. We're building bonds and relationships with those preschools. We've seen growth in our kindergarten program. We're able to, earlier in the year, really start targeting students and giving them support. Well, I think anything that we can do that's going to make things better for children, that's what we want to do.
I take part in the Lakeview transition team, where we developed our form that is now used countywide, and that is the preschool teacher's opportunity to talk about the kids. And then to get that information from that preschool teacher to the correct kindergarten teacher, that's the challenge.
I think my job is really easy in a lot of ways because I get to bring together probably one of the best assets that we have in the Mahoning Valley, and that's our people. And I get to bring those individuals together and really tap into their energy and their power to really talk about what we need by kindergarten transitions and what do we mean about being ready for school. And what we've really kind of come about as a result of some of our conversations, especially our kindergarten readiness summits, is we've talked about that means we need ready communities. We need ready families, and we need ready schools. And if we have those 3 pieces together and we're working in collaboration, kind of like Lori said, without our silos there, then we'll have ready kids. So my role is kind of that person that says, I don't believe in the word we can't. My role is to look at it and say we can, but what is it that we need? What people need to be present at the table? What resources do we need? And what are the obstacles? And let's not let those be barriers for us.
PNC supports kindergarten readiness because we believe that children should have the ability to achieve whatever they want. And the underserved kids enter into kindergarten, we find 18 months behind most of their peers. So we do all that we can do to get them ready to have that same start. Grow Up Great, which we launched in 2004, is a multi-year $350 million initiative to support early education where we live and work, to help those young children. An example of this is our Math on the Go cards, which provides materials to turn everyday moments into learning moments. I think the school systems have really embraced it. PNC is a corporate citizen here, and like you said, we live and work here every day. We have to help as much as possible. We're not going to change the world, but we can maybe change one part of it.
I think that we can work together by first not thinking of ourselves as mental health and educators. Pam taught me this a long time ago, actually, that you have to break down those barriers and people have to work together. And I think realistically now, especially, there's one pot of money and we all have to share it in order to be successful, in order to make a successful environment for children to learn. By breaking down barriers, working together as a team, whether it's education, mental health, community, we need to make it one team that we are working together for the children.